All right, welcome to another episode of Sneaks Rhymes and Life. I am your host, Ryan McDonald. My phone hits the floor. That is totally fine. We will recover. So, hey, great news. Um, Things are moving forward with the Toronto Temple. If you didn't know, that is the new WNBA team that is coming to Toronto in 2026. We are just starting the off season, and some of the free agent moves. My girl Kelsey Plum does not sound like she's going to be on the Las Vegas Aces. So this could be the end of their dynasty and or their run. As a lot of pieces are moving around. They don't have a GM. Don't have um, enough players under contract. They only have six players in the contract. So the team's going to look totally different. They still have Asia Wilson, so they have a fighter's chance as anyone. But there's going to be a lot of changes. But very exciting that the WNBA is coming to Toronto. So the team is called the Temple. Yeah, I'm kind of about the actual name, but merchandise is now available. Season tickets, or at least the deposit on season tickets, is now readily available. So there's exciting times. We're going somewhere, and it's going to play it out the Rico Center, and many other things. So we're starting to move forward. And again, you got it. I'm talking about the WNBA. I'm talking about the Temple, but I am in Toronto in Studio 185 at Henry's Camera. So once again, shout out to everyone. My friend Chantel, give us a wave. There we go. All right, Chantel is in the house. She's listening to this episode. She's doing some work on the side. But today's topic, and definitely wanted to get to this in the month of January before we get too far, and still thinking a little bit about 2024. And it was a banner year for hip hop. Now, there was obviously a lot of things that transpired. You can't start talking about hip hop in 2024 unless you talk about Drake and Kendrick and the beef that they had, the tension that is still ongoing. We already did an episode not too long ago in the last session here in Studio 185. And again, this is available on YouTube if you watch it on video, but it also will be available on Google, Apple, and definitely Spotify. As Spotify is for creators. We are all creators, and this is where you'll find a lot of my material that I've created over the last several years. As this podcast, Sneaks Rhymes in Life, has been a COVID project, a way to release and share information, share things, and many other pieces. So, um, as I was going there was a lot of interesting things that happened in the world of hip hop in 2024. And again, starting with Kendrick and Drake, J. Cole being a part of the beef and then leaving it. Um, now we have other people that have now gotten themselves involved in 2025. So who knows where this is going to go? We got the GNX album. We got a back and forth diss tracks for the ages that will put that up against anyone, the amount of tracks and the quality. But there was some amazing music. Now, that there are some new artists or some artists that have resurfaced, that have been out, in the last few years. Hey, we can talk about Future, which has been on an amazing run over the last 15, connecting with Metro Booming. And that's where kind of, really Kendrick's, stuck his foot in the ground and say how he felt about Drake and J. Cole as they made second person shooter. And that's kind of how it all really came to a boil. But whether it's Yeat or whether it's so many other artists that are out there, there's been some great music for the young generation. I will call one out that I never heard about before, and she had an album years ago, but Dolce, um, that she created an album in 2024 that it was absolutely amazing. And if you're not on her, and I mentioned her at least once in the last several years, if you haven't decided to take her in, highly recommended, because this is an artist in 2025 will probably make another project, will probably go on tour, and probably will be someone that you hear a lot about. Her project, again, it came out, I want to say it was like summer, August 30th. I just looked up the date. Alligator Bites Never Heal. Interesting title. Some very good songs that are on it. She's actually holding a white alligator on the cover, but it's an absolutely amazing project. And not to get too far off track, I really want you to, if you've never listened to her or this project, you should definitely give it a listen. But where I'm going with this is I'm going to give you a series of albums that you probably should take in. And in 2024, that's probably for the older heads. So again, that is generally the audience. Although I have some younger people now catching on, they want to kind of learn. They want to kind of just get my perspective. People at work are hearing, oh, you do a podcast, you record now in studio, you're doing all these things. So I'm going to give you 10 albums they probably should listen to, are artists you should listen to from 2024 that made an amazing product. Now, some of these are up for Grammys. Some of these didn't hit the radar with a lot of people. Some of them people think were underrated or overrated. Actually, I'm just going to add one. I got a lot to say about this one as I really have taken this one in. That you really should think about and take in. So I will start with the one that I just wrote down because I did forget it, but I really had taken it in. And it's ultimately leads to a bigger conversation is what is the standard and why do we hold artists from the 70s, the 80s, the 90s that have created music for decades ago? Why do we hold them to a similar standard or a standard that it just, if they call it version two? So I'm going to start by talking about Muddy Waters 2. Came out Christmas Eve, done by Redman. If you know Muddy Waters 1 or Muddy Waters as it's called, that was an album that he put out uh 20 I want to say it was 95 or it's probably 96 or 97. But this is his third album. What the album and There Is a Dark Side were the first two albums. Those three albums, all classics by Redman. So fast forward, Redman came out his first album in 20, or sorry, came out in his first album in 1992. What the album? This is where you got Time for Some Action that they sampled Cypress Hill. And you first heard him probably on Headbanger on EPMD's album. That was just the days you put a guy that was coming up on a track so people could hear him and get excited about him. Ultimate, yeah, he's done other stuff. It's stuff with Method Man, and they've still been on tour. They were here in Toronto in 2024. But Muddy Waters 2, the more you listen to it, it is an incredible project. Now, is it Muddy Waters 1? I won't even say it quality wise. I think familiarity wise, Muddy Waters 1 is the one you probably would gravitate to. Muddy Waters 2 is an amazing project. He goes into, he still does a Superman Lover. I think it's like Superman Lover like 7 or 8, but it's a great project. People and critically and people have done reviews have absolutely shitted on this album, saying it's absolutely garbage. It is not. So Muddy Waters 2, go out and listen to it. Spend some time with it. It's definitely an album you should you should listen to. Tyler Creator created an album. It is one of the best albums of the year. I still am taking it in. I'm gonna go to the gym at some point today, tomorrow, maybe pregame basketball when I have my game. I just got to listen to this album and really make my own opinion. But the snippets that I've heard and the tracks that I've heard, thoroughly impressed. Tyler Creator is, and this is going to be a future episode, 4 album runs. Tyler Creator should be at least mentioned as being one of the best MCs that have created runs when it comes to albums. Eminem, he created Death of Slim Shady. So this is better than Recovery and some of the other albums that he's done since he did Eminem Show and the Sin Shady LP and the Martha Magic for our project. Those kind of three are in the upper echelon of what Eminem has done. This is good. This is really good. There's a lot to take in and a lot to be proud of. So there's that one. Rhapsody came out. I want to say it was trying to remember the name of the album. I think it's Please Don't Go. but it's another great project. If you have really had not taken in Layla or some of the other things that Rhapsody has done, Rhapsody is arguably one of the most talented artists that we've ever had. And at the same time, the consistency of the quality of work that she continues to put out is as good as forget about a woman or a female MC or a femc, as some people are calling. It's as good as anyone that is out there, hands down. So give Rhapsody her flowers. That is an amazing project, and y'all should give some love to it. Mac Homie, Rich X Haitian, he just crushes albums. Like for me, he is a COVID MC that I found during COVID. I remember talking to my boy Magic. Shout out to Magic. Or Magic is he technically sound, but I call him Magic because it just sounds cooler that way. Um, he put me on, and he is Griselda like, or was in the camp, is now out. Um, Lyrically talented, has been backed by great producers. He is like an old school head rhyming in 2024, 2025. So that is one you got to be on. Have to shout out my boy Freddie Gibbs. You only die once. He has done some incredible work. We can talk about Pinata. Um, we can talk about and really Freddie Gibbs. If it wasn't for Nas, and y'all know that I love Nas, if it wasn't for Nas, Freddie Gibbs would probably have won a Grammy for Alfredo in 2020. But Nas had dropped King Disease. It got all the acclaim. He was like, Nas is back in the game. He's used a producer. It's working for him. So Nas got the Grammy. I think Freddie Gibbs is actually on King's Disease, and he was all set to get the Grammy and didn't get it. He had Alchemist as the producer. Alchemist is like, let's just give him the crown right now. Alchemist is the best one doing it currently and has been doing it for decades. Throw that together with Bandana, which is my favorite Freddie Gibbs project. Freddie Gibbs is on a run. Soul separately was done in 2022. He has been on a run essentially for five consecutive projects, knocked it out of the park. He would be an MC that you'd have to mention. 4 album run, Freddie Gibbs is in your conversation. But that project is absolutely amazing. You definitely need to jump on that one. Now in the top five, and I'm not saying it's the top five, but these are the last five that I will mention. Schoolboy Q, Blue Lips. Be a Schoolboy Q fan, 1999. This is one you got to get on. It is remarkable. Concepts, lyrically, just how the whole album is painted together is amazing. I wanted to see Schoolboy Q come in concert when he was going to come last year, but he was done at History. Drake owns a share. Kendrick Lamar beef didn't happen. Shit got canceled. Sucks. We're not going to get him again. Absol, I think, is coming because he did an album, did not be mentioned in this listing. But hopefully these guys can figure out. We know Kendrick is coming. Kendrick's coming for 2 concerts with him and SZA, and they're doing that at the Rogers Center, so it's going to be wild. So that is another one for us old heads. Um, Bodley James or Bodley James, another banger of a project that he's created in 2024. And this guy just keeps doing it. If you know Bodley James, again, he is from Atlanta, Atlanta born, raised in Detroit, and is spitting some of the grittiest rhymes and albums that we have out there. So I want to tell you, he had like 5 albums. Um, and that's why I had to actually pull it up. Penalty is a leader, across the tracks, the Brictionary, which is the one that I'm talking about specifically, hidden in plain sight, are all projects he has been a part of or out in 1 year. Like he is in his bag and putting out quality projects. So Any one of those. I will suggest that you start with the Brictionary. That's the one you should jump on and listen to. And then my personal two favorites. I'm gonna do LL, an album called The Force. He was in concert. Unfortunately, I was sick when he came, and I missed him in 20. Yeah, I think it was in 2023, 50 years of hip hop, and everyone was out doing their thing, but I missed him. He was with Missy and Busta and did it. They did it at Scotiabank Arena here in Toronto and tore it up. I actually Black Thought was part of the show. I think we got Queen Latifah. No, yeah, Missy and Busta were a separate show that happened in 24. That also I got sick and I had to miss it. So can't get to every show. You have to miss some sometimes, and that's how it goes. But The Force is an incredible album, highly regarded in my eyes. I don't think is LL's best work. No. Is it Mama Said Knock You Out? Is it Radio? Is it Essential Albums? No. Radio is my gateway album to hip hop. Gateway. Way back in 85. You put on Radio, I probably could spit the whole album rhyme for rhyme or very close to it. At least I would be flowing. I'm Bad, and then Walk Like a Panther and some of the other pieces that came out. Not everyone loves, but I love The Force. Like Authentic, which came out in 2023, Exit 23 that came out in '08, Todd Smith that came out in '06, The Definition '04, The GOAT 2000. He coined the phrase. These didn't hit. For me, The Force is so dope. Saturday Night Special was one of the first singles. That's with Rick Ross and Fat Joe. He did where is it? Run It Back. You hear Q-Tip all over that track. Praise Him. Another fire track he did with Nas. Um, uh, uh, Murdergram Do. That's the one that he does with Eminem, where they literally go as fast as two MCs back and forth on a track. Um, 30 Decembers is a good song. I like Postmodern. Passion is another one, another standout cut. Spirit of Cypress he does with Snoop Dogg. So I'm gonna tell you, like, it is a really good album. You just got to give it a chance. It is not, again, it's not Mama Said Knock You Out. It's not I'm Bad. It's not even Walk Like a Panther. It's different. It sounds different. He's got Q-Tip on the boards, but people are shitting on, oh, well, fuck. He's like 50 some odd years old, and why is he making music? And he owns Rock the Bells, on Sirius FM, and he just shut his mouth. LL is it will be known as the most important MC. He was our first rap superstar. And I've said this three, four, five, six times on this podcast. I'm gonna keep spitting it. I don't care. You gotta give LL his props and his respect. He paved the way for everyone that is now currently in the game, everyone that is probably retired. He was a part of where we are at today. So I'm telling you, The Force is an album that you need to give love and respect to. And that is definitely one that we got to talk about. Got to talk about. But the one that I got to finish with, this is Grammy nominated for two different cuts, or for project as best rap album, best rap performance, the best rap album. I personally think my most played rap album in 2024, The Auditorium, Common and Pete Rock. When we talk about collaboration albums of two older MCs or two current MCs, this is the gold standard of how albums should sound. This is the gold standard of how music should be created. It is absolutely incredible. It is an album that I will tell you, you will thoroughly enjoy from beginning to end. And I think they did it the right way. This is the concept that I've talked about for so long. In the world of 2025 in streaming, you got to release singles. You can't just drop the album and just expect people to listen. So you need to drop teasers. I even took that concept when I created this podcast and I put out, I want to say I called it like the warm up, or it was just me. Literally, I went and I spat from the dome on this podcast and say, hey, podcast is coming. We're going to talk about this. I think I call actually, it's called the primer. That's what it. And the primer to this day is a top 5 episode. Hundreds and hundreds of people have listened to the primer and told me, I'm so excited for your podcast, that this is what it's going to be about. You're so passionate about it. I can't believe you started the pandemic. It's so great, Lionel. You just shot your shot. You just went for it. So you got to continue to put out tracks. So hey, things that they did. We got what was this? Wise Up was the first track. This is also when Define My Name by uh uh DJ Premier and Nas. We've been talking about them having a project for 20 years. We never got it. We still haven't got it. Nas is doing things, DJ Premier is doing things. Guys, you hear me pleading from this podcast, get in the booth and finish the album. I know you got tracks laid down. You didn't lay down one track and decide to release it. Go in the booth, finish the album. Understand that Common and Pete Rock have set the gold standard of what an album can and will sound like. But we got Wise Up. We got Dreaming, which is an incredible track. Um, and then All Kind of Ideas was like, this is the clincher. This is the one. And it is such an amazing album. It is music for the soul. It is music for hip hop enthusiasts, young, old, and anyone and everyone. This is just music. This is not just can be defined by just hip hop. This is music that people can listen to. Stellar, Fortunate, um, This Man, um, Chi-Town Do It. And then the standout cut is When the Sun Shines Again. The sample, how it feels like it, just saying the song makes the hair on the back of my neck stand up. So Common, Pete Rock, Rise Up. I know Kendrick is in your category. I hope you guys get a Grammy out of this because I really believe you deserve it. You guys deserve so much critical acclaim. And again, I'll end the podcast with this. I'm preaching for this, that there almost should be another category. Rap is the most influential genre of music that we currently have in the world. It only has like 3 or 4 categories when we talk about music. Rap should have another category that we can include and celebrate more artists. No, we got Killer Mike, that's one. We've had obviously Nas one for King's Disease, but we have generations competing for one award or 2 awards. We should have more categories to really encompass rap and really be able to celebrate this amazing genre and the impact that it's making on so many things. We got Kendrick in a matter of 3 weeks. This is being recorded on 22nd of January. When we do the Super Bowl, February 9th, I hope, because it's before the conference final. My Commanders are playing the Eagles. Let's go, Commanders! Raise hail, raise victory, and let's go get a dub against these Eagles and end up in the Super Bowl because I want to be there. I want to see my team in the Super Bowl. I haven't seen it since the '92 Super Bowl against the Bills, and it could be the Bills or it could be the Chiefs. We just got to get through. But let's give them an opportunity. And Kendrick, yes, he is probably the one that is going to clean up at the Grammys. But Common and Pete Rock, you are the people's champ this year for creating music, and you made an incredible and special album. Hopefully, 5, 10, 20 years from now, we are still talking about the Auditorium Volume 1. And I hope this inspires you to go back in the chamber and create Auditorium 2, 3, and etc. That's it. That's me getting off my high horse, spitting some facts, spitting my opinions about some amazing albums that happened in 24. And don't let 25 come and not get a chance to talk about these albums. But until the next time we're in Studio 185, this is Sneaks Rhymes in Life. We out.